This is a continuation of my story, Allah in Wonderland, also known as The 100th Name of Allah. In my book, The Black Rock Redemption, also known as Allah's New Black Rock. B, said Allah, and the girl grew more. She now stood as a very stunning 8-year-old before Rahman. She purred in a sexual way, saying, "Ooh, Allah, I felt so good to grow to this size." She looked at Rahman and asked, "How do you like me now? I'm legal now." Allah then said, "Which then of the bounties of your Lord will you deny?" Rahman suddenly felt a stirring down below. You have a quite a nice thigh gap," Rahman gulped. Allah smiled and said to Rahman, "All the better to clasp you with, my dear." The Goldie Hawn giggled and said, "I know the answer," and she danced about with a happy smile of ecstasy on her face, on her closed eyes, looking reminiscent of Goldie Hawn dancing in a YouTube video with the link of, her smooth, taut skin glistening under the moon, under the stars. Rahman smiled as the hormones began to flow. He had a hard time not looking at the recently created Go-Go Girl, but he knew now that it was just a very pleasant illusion by the best of deceivers to try to keep him from asking questions, especially the latest one about no bear of burdens being the burden of another. Being the burden of another. Right when Rahman was about to ask again, Allah said in a desperate voice, "Every time we say B, she shall gain 10 pounds more of sexual female loveliness." "I'm game with that," Rahman heard himself uncontrollably say. Rahman then shook his head to try to gather his wits. The erotic creation was trying to remove from him. Rahman said, "Oh, so, again, I asked the question again. What are we to believe? Should we believe Muhammad about sins of really evil Muslims being placed on Jews and Christians? Or the Quran that says no bearer of burden shall bear the burden of another?" Allah looked as if Rahman stabbed him. Allah looked as if Rahman had stabbed him. With that, Allah said, "B, and on each B, it was as if the Goldie Hawn was plumped up another 10 more pounds of stunning, curvaceous female wondrousness, making her moan and orgasmic pleasure as she grew. On the last saying of B, the Goldie Hawn was 30 pounds heavier, but all in the right places, like Rahman fantasized about on lonely nights. "Oh, Allah, you are such a bad Illa," the girl moaned out in sexual ecstasy from her growing. Allah smiled when seeing the effects the girl growing before them had on Rahman's reasoning powers. "Which then of the bounties of your Lord will you deny?" asked Allah in a seductive voice, a wicked smile on their face, for knowing such sex appeal dripping from the girl had ended Rahman's questioning. Rahman was incredibly turned on. Every part of him was fizzing with libido hormones from seeing such a girl developing before him. The girl was like Goldie Hawn, with big pendulous hooters, and with very thick, curvaceous thighs of what Rahman would call yumminess. "That's still quite a thigh gap she has," said Rahman weakly. "Again, all the better to attach you with," smiled Allah. It's just an illusion," Rahman told himself with his heart now pounding. "Just an illusion, not real." Rodman slapped himself to try to help himself snap out of it, and said, "Again, what are we to believe? Should we believe Muhammad about sins of really evil Muslims being placed on Jews and Christians, or should we believe the Quran that says, 'No bear a burden shall bear the burden of another'?" Rahman then stabbed Allah further with, "And since Jesus was sinless, doesn't this mean Jesus can bear our sins? Since even in Islam Jesus is sinless? What would that mean? Want to guess? Think, O best of deceivers, think." As diversion, Allah tried to ignore the question by adding more pounds of bloodliness to their Goldie Hawn creation and shouted, "B, B, B." Rahman noticed that instead of gaining weight that time, the girl was gaining height. She was now nearly 9 feet tall and continued to dance in go-go fashion. The Goldie girl moaned with pleasure. She stopped dancing and said, "Oh, you are such a bad illah, Allah. You've made me feel so good and growing." Before Rahman could ask the question again, Allah said, "B" again. Each B made her grow another foot taller. "B, B, 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 B," Allah kept on saying, and saying it faster. When Allah quit saying B, the yummy Goldie Hawn was the size of the virgins Muhammad taught would inhabit paradise. Rahman remembered that according to Muhammad, all the virgins of Jannah, paradise, were to be 60 cubits in height. The Goldie Hawn was now the same size. So big was she that Rahman enjoyed looking up at her. But to keep from stepping on them, the girl daintily walked a little further into the desert, thumping and shaking the ground her dainty huge feet made when setting down on the playa. She then continued to dance under the moonlight, now in a slow go-go girl fashion. The fashion to the Arabian music. Oops. Oh yeah. What the heck? Why is it? Okay. Okay. To the Arabian music. That's it. Rahman said to Allah, "You really know how to turn a guy on, oh Allah. One would probably have all this, but one would probably have all the script. Would have to, not have all, but have to. One would probably have to have." Oh shoot! I'm gonna have to stop it here.